Lord, this is what you wanted. All along, you want to be able to sit and talk to you as if you're sitting in the chair, which you are sitting with me. I now understand that you're sitting with me. So, and it's hard, and this is a really hard feat for me because I was so programmed to think that talking to you in any way was crazy. Absolutely crazy. I mean, it's really drilled into me from my mom, and I had to let go of everybody. That's why I had to be by myself, because if I acted this way around people, they would, that their energy, their thought, because thought create our actions. Thoughts, I mean, your word is the word. The sound is you. You are the feeling. You are the emotion. You are the energy and everything. And I now understand that, but the only way I could truly understand that was when I let go of everybody else, because then that way I was able to focus on you. And it's hard to focus on you. I mean, come on, you remember this walk with me when, I mean, I knew you were there. I was angry. I doubted you. I couldn't feel you. You know, I was praying for things. I was doing what I was told, yet I was seeing nothing. But in my mind, I was doubting it the whole way. It was like you were sending me all this energy and positive, and I was starting to hear it, but I was throwing so much more negative at you. Of course I wasn't moving. I mean, it makes total sense as to why I wasn't moving, because I was consistently throwing energy. I mean, our thoughts, you created us equal, not in by who we look like, but by who we are as energy wise. And we're so not taught that. And I mean, I spent 33 years thinking you weren't there. 33 years thinking you weren't there. But the funny thing is you were always there. I mean, now that I look back in my life, how things lined up, I mean, I know when the kids got taken away, and I know the pain that felt when I lost my girls, because it was my fault. I know that now, that you were still with me, holding me, even though I felt like I couldn't go on. And then I tried to do everything I could, but you kept telling me, no, Brandy. I know this hurts, and I know you keep hurting yourself, but you're doing it for a reason. You have to continue to do it. And then after the girls, my mom, I used to think, and I used to blame my mom for who I was, because I thought that if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be where I was. And I remember thinking that about my mom, and being, even though I loved her so much, and having to live with her for so long, and I blamed her for not moving me. And the funny thing is even though the pain that I suffered from the drugs and from not having the love that I needed, even through all that pain, you never let me fall. And the fact that I'm even where I'm at with you right now, the day that I woke up and I saw Mom there, I felt this pain that was like I was breaking inside. And God, I've got to tell you, it's so funny because I feel the same pain now. The exact pain that I felt when I lost my mom. I'm feeling it now. But instead of seeing the negative, I see the positive. I see the positive in everything. And the funny thing is I feel like I can create my world with this. Like, I have the power to move forward. Even when Mom died. I mean, my whole life, my father wasn't around. I felt like I was alone in everything that I did. I always strived, and I was always in pain because I wanted attention, because the only time I ever got it was when I was in pain. So I know a lot of what I've done is because I thought myself into it. I know that I over-exaggerated. I made it the pain worse. And now that I understand that thoughts create a reality, I now really understand how I got so sick and how I had so many health problems. And I mean, my entire life, I thought that I was nothing and that I had to be sick and ill to be loved, because the only time that I really usually ever was when I was sick. I didn't get the love that I should have. So it's so funny how sick physically I became because I was reaching for something. And what I was reaching for, it was always there. But because I didn't see you, because my mom raised me not to see you, I didn't search for you, I didn't look for you. But when I came to you, you answered me. I mean, the first time that I really, and not just pretend pray. I mean, you remember all the times that I used to pretend pray. When I used to sit there, Lord, please help me. If you're whatever, there. You know, I don't even know why I'm talking to myself. I sound so crazy. I mean, do you remember those nights? Do you remember those nights when I was like, you know, if you're there, why don't you just do something? You know, the rest of my life you're just trying to destroy, and the pain you keep giving me and everything you keep throwing at me, I can't handle it. You didn't answer me, no. I may not have heard you, but you did answer me every single time. But because in the moment I was too blind to see that the pain was the way that you were using to move me. What I used to think was pain that was being something towards me. I now understand that it was the only way I would move because I was so stubborn. But you loved me enough to do it. Even when I didn't believe you and I didn't understand who you were, I knew that you moved me. And now I see why so many people are really blind to who you are. I mean, you were not taught right, Lord. I had to learn about you through feeling you, through the vibrational thought process. Like, the Bible is a cloak. I mean, the people and the events and the characters are just kind of like the cover-up. But there's always a deeper meaning. And it's so funny because every day that I watch movies, not every day, because I don't watch movies every day, but I feel like this urge to watch a movie, even though I'm like, but I always know there's a meaning behind it. And now it's like when I watch movies, I don't see the characters and the events, but I see the deeper meaning, the emotions behind it, the things that actually teach us who we really are. I mean, we're not the sum total of the things around us. I mean, are the things around us are the sum total of what we think of. I mean, my cheap lamps and my cheap furniture, and it just, the energy that I place in my house buying cheap stuff and not cleaning. I mean, dirt is the worst thing to have, because it's like, if my house is dirty, I feel guilty. Like, I'm not good enough because my house is dirty. Yeah, I work, 8-9 hours a day and bus 2 hours a day and raise kids. But yet when my house is dirty, I feel that I'm not good enough. And that reflects into my job because I'm not fully good enough in my job. But the problem is because I keep living my life through what I see. And because of that, my life is reflecting. it's like a catch-22. I mean, you have to learn to grow, but you have to grow to learn. And that's really hard because we're so stuck in one way, so narrow-minded. We don't question anything. We go by what we say. You know, we don't look for things ourselves. We don't, you know, the only way I found you was to learn through, like, every way. I had to learn through every type of religion. I had to learn through every type of spirituality, through every type of possible belief. I mean, far out. I mean, maybe that's why I am the way I am, because of all the movies that I watched, and my imagination is pretty stretched. But, I mean, people don't, they fully can't connect with you because they're trying to find you in a church. They're trying to find you outside of themselves. They're trying to find you somewhere else because we're so taught not to be selfish. You know, do for others before you do for yourself type thing, but you can't. You have to become selfish, but it's only for a short period of time. I mean, I think the process that I started with you for what, like a year and a half now. And in the beginning, I was still around people. I still needed people. Like, I was trying to get my answers from other people. I wasn't talking to you at all. Like, I would have a little prayer every now and then, maybe, and I didn't really see anything move, you know. But all the way through the process, the lessons I'm starting to learn more, because it's like as soon as I decided to follow you, I changed my focus just like an inch. You know, I mean, and if I'm going light years from here to another universe, and I'm traveling at light speed, if I want to hit a destination somewhere else, all I have to do is move an inch. But I have to move an inch, you know, and wait, because then it has to adjust, you know, because it takes a while. But we're so instant gratification type people that we don't wait. We don't want to. And so we don't see the lesson. We just see the problem, because we don't take time to learn what the actual lesson is. We live so much by sight that we don't even bother to stop and have any faith and look into it. And look into it. You know? I mean, I couldn't learn who I was until I sat down and learned as much as I could. I mean, now the fact that we have study themselves and be selfish. Even as I'm recording and talking to you, even as that, you have my daughter, you have something, oh my gosh, okay. I see and I understand how you teach me now. I see that. When I walk by faith and believe in you and talk with you, and I let go of my surroundings around me, it's like I'm able to learn the lessons that are actually there. It's like life is all a cloak. Sight is all a cloak. But it's the deeper meaning behind that. That's where we learn. Where we really learn, where we really grow, where we actually finally get out of the damn struggle that we've been in our entire life, is when we remove the cloak, the sight. We get rid of it. I mean, come on, I'm sitting here, and this is something that I used to struggle with, being able to record and talk to you, because again, as I'm recording, I'm still feeling, okay, who's going to judge the way I'm acting right now? What are they going to say about what am I saying? I'm so worried, and I get so caught up in the thought process of what others might say. Even recording to myself, I still trip up, but now I completely get it and completely understand it. And I know it's a process, and I know I'm learning, but I'm eating healthier, more energy foods, and it's like the more vegan. I mean, come on. All I eat lately is what? Spinach, kale, a banana, orange, and avocado, and a lot of omega-3. And I've eaten the same thing every day. I don't change it up. I feel like I'm a grazing animal because I'm sitting here munching on lettuce through the day, carrying my bowl around, munching on lettuce. But it's like the more that I do that, the more I listen, I understand you, and I can hear you. And the less I'm really clouded by the judgment of who you actually are. The spiritual energy and the vibration in our body, and the fact that you were always there. I hear you, but it's not like the way that I thought. I mean, come on, before the way I thought you talked to me was like that big booming voice. You know how many times I sit there and would complain that it's like, okay, God, if you're going to talk to me, I want to hear you, right? And I'm not focusing where I need to, because now I understand I have to focus within. I have to turn everything out, meditate, and it's really weird because you get to that point, you do realize that you're focusing in. It's an energy, and you can actually feel that I'm not putting my energy outside of me, but I'm putting it in me, and in that process where I grow. But I remember Lord, I remember all the times that I'd sit there. Come on, I'm waiting, Lord. You know what I mean? Come on, in movies, that's how it's portrayed, right? God, you're another person. You're a human being. You're a man. You're something. You're never taught that you're energy, because nobody's gonna teach that. That sounds crazy. Even to me, it sounded crazy, but it doesn't sound crazy to me anymore. Actually, I completely and totally understand it, how the sound waves and how everything moves, and how all of that creates that. And then we lose touch with the actual energy itself, because we're taught to see by sight. You know, energy is electricity. You don't want to touch it. It's going to kill you. You know. But I remember asking you to talk to me. So many times, Lord, did I actually remember asking you to talk to me. I'm like, talk to me, Lord. Talk to me. I'm waiting. I don't hear anything. But I never realized that you were always talking to me at every single time. There were so many times that the right people would come to me and say the right things to move me, but the wrong people would come to me and upset me and move me. It's like they both did a purpose. It's an energy. You know, it was a negative energy to move me to the left. It was a positive energy to move me to a right. It's like we're walking down a narrow, or not narrow, we're walking down a path in a field completely blind, spiritually blind, okay? But it's an energy path. So we perceive the negative energy as mean and evil from a young age. See, and then I lose track of what I'm thinking. The reason why I lose track of what I'm thinking is because I don't fully understand it, therefore I can't speak it. Is that what it is? Is that why I forget? Because it's like the moment I forget what I'm talking about, I'm on to another thing. And that's another reason why I can't be me in front of people. If people saw this part of me, they'd be like, oh my God, she's mental, she's crazy. Or maybe that's just the way I think people will perceive me, because that's how, when I was growing up, I perceived those type of people to be. So in reality, to be like this is not that, but it's still hard because there's so much fear and judgment and doubt. So I still couldn't do this in front of people, which I probably will be able to do in front of, no, not probably, which, because I know I will be able to. It's just a process of me growing and letting go of all the things that held me back. Well, I can't get people to keep up with me. There's no way. I would lose people so incredibly quickly. But see, that's why I have kids, because my kids teach me my patience. They teach me that I can't teach that much at one time, that I have to speak slower. But I can't get angry if they don't understand, because they're not at a point in time where they can understand. However, I just keep teaching them. But instead of teaching them one way, I learn to teach them a little bit differently. If that doesn't work, I learn to teach a little bit differently. If that doesn't work, I find what works for them. Because what you find what works for them, it's like they take it up. I mean, Jael, come on. Jael used to never listen to me. She'd fight with me. She complained. She couldn't do it. She threw temper tantrums. I couldn't get her to do anything. She didn't want to learn. And remember, I didn't even want to teach her. Like, I didn't know how to teach her. I didn't know what to do to teach her, you know? And in doing so, I felt uncomfortable doing it because I felt like I couldn't give her the love that she needed. Like I wasn't a good enough mother for her. So therefore, I didn't do it in the first place. But in turn, she didn't get from me what she needed to grow. And now I understand that you put my kids in my life to balance me out. They're like my little force field. Like, I feel like I'm their sun, and as they go around me, they pull me in all different directions. But in doing so, it's like they're stirring me up. They're stirring all the things up in me, because before, it wasn't stirred up in me. It was like I was sitting at the bottom, like waiting to die. Really? I didn't want to leave the house. I feared death. I mean, you know all the times where I didn't do anything and I turned to drugs because I didn't know how to do it. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to move. I didn't learn about myself. I didn't do anything. So I turned to drugs because I felt this emptiness, this pain. Now I understand when you don't do anything and you don't focus on yourself, when you focus on the world around you, when you're not selfish, and there's a different way of being selfish, because I guess the way we perceive selfish is that, oh, you just want it all for yourself and you don't want to share with anybody. But that's not the case at all. Actually, you have to be selfish, because it's in the process of being selfish that you can find who you are. This is who I am. I now understand this is who I am. But it was hard for me to be this way before. Because one, I didn't even know that's who I was. Two, I wouldn't even know how to get there and stay there. You know, But this process that I'm on, I now know how to get there and stay there. So of course I know this process for me, because this, oh my God, who I am now is in, like, I feel incredible. I understand it. I know how to move it. I see people for who they really are. We are so limited to thinking how material we are, how physical this body is, physical this, because we see it as a physical body. The physical, I mean, what we see is just a filter of what actually is going around. It's like God's way of saying, okay, I want you to learn, but you have to go through the process to find yourself, because it's only in finding yourself that you actually know what to look for. We look at everything wrong, and because we see things for, let's see, it's school, math, science, history, you learn about the facts of the past, you learn about the facts of mathematics, you learn about the facts of the universe, you learn about the facts of this, you learn about the facts of that, and you know what? You can't take in that much fact, because fact is like computer code. There's only so much fact that can go into it before you have to dump your cache, before you have to delete your files, because damn, your computer starts to slow down. So we can't learn by fact. We have to learn by meaning, because we are not a materialistic thing. We are energy. We are in motion. We are energy. We are moving. And to think material is to turn ourselves into a rock and put ourselves at the bottom of the ocean. But to think in terms of energy and electricity and motion, we now understand that we can't focus on the world around us because their energies don't match with ours, and it causes us pain. And we have to be selfish. We have to go on a path to discover who we are. And the funny thing is you put me on this path, Lord, but for some reason I don't fully remember my path. Like, I know who I was, I know some things along the way, and I know who I am now, but you've taught me to be able to speak to people and how to understand myself and how to move forward, but for some reason I can't fully explain to people how I became to be. And I get it though. I know. Hold on. Oh. Of course I can't teach people my entire story, because their path is not my path. And if their path turned into my path, then there's no growth there, because you're the same as me. I can't grow if you were exactly like me. That's not how we work. I mean, to grow is, if we're growing the same, then we're not matching up. Okay, so how can I put that into a terminology that's understandable? I mean, if two things are the same, they can't grow because they don't offer anything new. It's like steps. To create a step, like a staircase to move up, to go higher, if we all have the same thing, then we can't add to the pile. We can't add to the growth. We can't grow up there. We can't. See, it's hard to explain that one. Maybe it's not time for me to know. I have to learn some more information. But do you remember before how I struggled to remember anything? And it's because I was looking at the facts. I know it's because I kept trying to focus on the facts, and we are computers that are designed to absorb knowledge, but not the facts. But we have to, of course, have the facts there, but we have to be taught the meaning behind the facts, what it means to be this. Okay, so like in history, we learned about the battles and the years and everything that they happened, but why did we fight? What was the meaning? What were we feeling at the time of the fight? Why did we become that way? If we keep repeating the same things over and over again, we're never going to change. We keep repeating the same things over and over again because we keep repeating the same vision, the same fact, the same fact, the same fact. We're not upgrading our hardware because we keep just living off the same numbers, zeros and ones, zeros and ones, zeros and ones, zeros and ones, because that's literally what vision is. You are seeing the product of your thoughts, the product of the energy, which is our zeros and ones, zeros and ones. You're not seeing the meaning behind it. And because we only know what we see, and we are taught to believe only what we see, we become narrow-minded and limited. And we don't become compassionate. And when someone acts up and yells and screams and hurts, we don't automatically go to the thought process of, okay, so why are we acting this way? Just because you say, we assume too much, way too much do we assume. Way too much to be freaking assume. Oh my God. It's funny. I'm going to tell you. It's because the moment I start to think that I have a great idea that I can share, it's like I stop. Because this isn't for you. It is for you. But it's for God. It is for you. Because when I speak to you with clarity, it becomes easier. Like, I don't care who sees this or not. I know that people are going to see it when they are ready to see it, when they get to where they see it, because a lot of people may not understand what I have to say now. I might move too fast. The meanings of what I say won't mean anything. Maybe they will. Maybe I'm helping people to see it in perspective. Maybe if I go through my video and chop it up into the little messages, I can pull the little parts out that I know that can pull people to you. We assume way too much. We live by vision, and because we live by vision and our assumptions get in the way, when new people come into our lives, we automatically judge. That person's not supposed to be here. I remember so many people who came into my life who did me wrong. I'd be like, that person just did me wrong, and you know what? Negative's going to come to her. You know what? You know, if that's what you're going to do to me, I can't wait to see what happens to you. Okay, I was beat, Lord. And I even know that you were there with me. I know you were there with me when that happened. There's no way. He hit me on the ground 30 times. In the head. In the head. Well, I mean, boxers get hit, but my head was on the ground. His fist was hitting on top. The force that was going into my head as my head was on the ground. And then I was told by doctors that I had boxer syndrome, and I believed it. I struggled so many times to not remember, and I'm just like, oh, this memory loss. You know, I'm just never going to get anywhere. This memory loss. So many times did I use that excuse, this memory loss is not going to get me anywhere. But now I realize that first, that whole beating happened to put me in the mentality of memory loss, because only when I lose my memory did I really able to focus on you, because then I was able to let go of time, and then let going of time, you see the effects in a way that you feel them. It's weird. It's really cool. It's like as soon as you eliminate time, I find you. But when I was being beat there, Lord, when I was being beat there, I was so scared when that happened, because I knew that I put myself there. I knew that the drug use, I knew that the lust that I put into him, I didn't think right, and I made mistakes, and I did things that my kids saw, and the choices. I mean, I was on meth for how long? I was on meth for almost a year. I was on Oxycontin and fentanyl and Xanax for 8 years. Even in my pain, even in everything that I did, I am where I'm at now because of every single decision that I made. Every single decision I made. And I blamed myself. I blamed myself for everything that I did. I blamed myself. When he was hitting me, Lord, I don't remember feeling any pain in the moment. I don't remember any pain when it happened. It was like when it happened, you kind of took me out of my body for a moment. Because you knew that I needed that. But it's so funny because after he ran away, and after I could sit there for a moment and realize for a moment what had just happened, it's like the thought of pain set in. That thought of pain set in, and that pain became real for me. That pain I lived with. That suffering I lived with. The suffering I lived with for years of my life, and I blamed myself for it all. But now I understand, because without my memory loss, I wouldn't have been on the road to finding you. Because when you're going every day and you forget and you forget and you forget, you get frustrated because you don't know which way to turn. And when you don't know which way to turn, you become confused, and then everything just kind of becomes a jumbled, and then everything breaks down. You don't know what to think, you don't know what to do, you don't know how to act. I mean, it's completely stirred up. Like, now I completely understand how we are your wheat. Because it's like the second you cut us down, you put us into a process of beating us. The beating is painful. And the entire time when we feel like that you are not there, now I understand that you never left. Because you kept me going, Lord. Look where I am now. Where I am now is somewhere where I can't even describe, because it's like I feel like I am one with you. I feel like you are with me at every step, because you are in me, you are through me, you are me. You are the glue that holds me together. And even in my moments of telling you, screw off, Lord, you think that this is good for me? You think that this is what I need? All the times when I sat there and I cried, and I yelled at you, and I screamed at you, because how could you let me suffer so much? But I now understand that my suffering was a process of preparing me for who I am now. But I had to let go of the pain. I had to stop seeing it for the zeros and the ones that it actually was. But I couldn't stop seeing it for the zeros and ones that it was, because I didn't know who you actually were as far as energy and the feelings. Like, once I let go of all of that pain and I forgive myself, because now I understand that I was only doing what I was being led. I mean, there were so many times and so many things that I've said, but why couldn't I forgive myself? I know why I couldn't forgive myself. I couldn't forgive myself because even in my worst moments, even my best moments, and I make tiny mistakes, I was judged every second of the way. And because I didn't know who you were, and I wasn't connected with you on energy, on a spirit, on a water level, like we are one, beyond. Because I saw you as the man in the sky, as I saw you as the person outside of me, as a different influence, is because I couldn't see you in me, because I couldn't be selfish. To be selfish is like a sin. Well, I mean, it's not a sin, but, you know, that's kind of how it's portrayed. It's a sin to be selfish. You know, it's bad to be selfish. You know, you're taught as a kid, don't be selfish. Share your toys. I mean, I teach my kids that. I taught the kids that. But it's like the more I teach them to love themselves and I give them unconditional love and I stop, don't do that anymore. You know, I don't want to hear you. Go to your room. You know, when she would come to me, Lord, all the times that Jael would come to me and I would push her away because I was too busy, or because I was angry, or because everything that was in my life was so heavy for me. I would push my children away, and I would be mean. Even people that I truly love, I push them away. But now I understand that sometimes for me to let go of things, I have to push them away. Because how can I let go of something I love, Lord, when you're telling me to do it every step of the way? How can I, the people that I love, I can't. If you came to me, Lord, in all of my moments and said, okay, Brandy, it's time that your daughter goes into a different direction, you have to push her away. You think I would have done that after the fact? I know the pain of having my kids taken from me, of not being in their lives and being denied that. You really think, Lord, that I was just going to let my daughter go that I was gonna, no, you knew I wouldn't do it. If you came to me and told me to do it, I wouldn't have done it. Because I wouldn't have understood the pain that I would have to suffer. I wouldn't have done it. I wouldn't put myself in that pain. But now, Lord, I see my daughter grow, even though I'm not in her life right now, and I know that one day she will forgive me. I know that you will make that happen. But I now understand because she's growing. Where she wasn't growing with me, Lord, it wasn't my fault she wasn't growing with me. It's just, I didn't do anything wrong. It's so weird to even think that. Even all the times that I did those to my children, it's funny because the more that I find you, and the more I connect with you, and the more I work on myself, I mean, eliminating soda, eliminating TV, I mean, when I drank soda, I was so tired all the time, and then I complained that I was tired, and yet I kept drinking soda because it quenched my thirst. It was like, it was a quick acting up, you know, but now I understand to get to where you are, it's a long process, it's a slow process. I mean, I'm not even trying to cut fatty foods. Like, I'm every day, I can't eat fatty foods anymore. Like, I eat just kale. It's like, it was so weird because I decided just to start eating the same thing. Kale, spinach, avocado, orange. I do omega, hemp seed. I do it every day. And it's like, in doing that, I'm realizing that, and then the distilled water, I can't even drink tap water. I can't even rinse my mouth out while brushing my teeth with tap water. I can't use fluoride toothpaste. Every bit of that stops this feeling. And I'm telling you, Lord, this is the best feeling ever, because it's for the first time in my life. I feel how much you love me. And it's not even a sense of a love. It's just a sense of I've never been alone. Even in my worst mistakes and the worst things that I have ever did, they were pulled by you. No matter what I've done, they were pulled by you. And our problem as people is that we judge for the pain. We judge others for the pain we go through. We blame others for the pain we go through. Because we don't accept the pain, and we can't accept the pain because we're so limited on the knowledge of who we are, We are not just this body, this blood and cells and organs. No, we are like fully an energetic, producing, vibrating machine. I mean, the brain itself, the pineal gland, the one thing that fluoride calcifies, the one thing that the tap water actually does to hurt us. When you calcify that pineal gland, it's like I lose this connection with you. But ever since I cut out everything, sugar, I mean, everything that we think is good for us to ingest, everything is bad. I mean, it's not bad though. It is used to stir up the pot. I mean, that's what happens. God planted us in the beginning to grow. But you can't grow without adversity, because it's in the process of adversity that you move. It's in the process of pain that you move. Without pain, you sit still and do nothing. Do you know, if I would have been born to parents that loved me, and I had to do everything right, and I did well, and I got my, I went to college, and I studied, and I got my doctorate, and yeah, I would have money, but of what value though? Where would my peace come from? I couldn't fully understand your peace. I could not fully understand the extent of that joy without first not having it. Because when I don't have it, I value it that much more. Money, I understand what I'm doing with money. I don't have a single clue what I'm doing with money. I mean, I wasn't taught in. It's so confusing about what money is, because, you needed to buy stuff and everything's getting more expensive, and I don't know how to budget and pay my bills, and there's so many debt collectors, and it's so overwhelming. But when you get to a place of nothing, you don't have anything to manage. When you get to a place of having no money, you start to realize that money is not what you think it is. And I had to be void of it to understand that money is not, it's not there for me to go buy stuff to consume. I don't want the next great gadget. I don't want candies and chocolates and pizzas and beer and wine, and I don't want to go party, and I don't want my money to go into any of that. No. What I want to do is I want to put my money into creating inspirational art to put out there, because I see that we are all incredibly loved, but we're so narrow-minded and we're so visionless of who you are that we can't be guided by you. But we are on the right path. We just have to change the focus of who you are. Now, there was religion, and religion was great because religion stirred up the pot by only teaching the facts. Again, if you want to become a creative being, you have to get all of the facts before you can pull the meaning out. It's like, okay, so those pictures that have like a million of different pictures, but it makes like an even bigger, like one single picture. So you have a million pictures of a million different scenarios of a million different people, and you take them all really, 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 really tiny, and then you see the picture of the man, or you see the picture that, the art that they create. I always remember the one with the man. I don't know why. That's just me, but it's one person is what it reminds me of. One being, and you can't fully understand the extent, the largeness of it, the expansiveness of it, until you first stretch that being. But you can't stretch that beings with feelings, because feelings are fluid, they're energy, they're electricity, and electricity can't expand things. Electricity can only flow. So you need something that can expand, which is matter, material. We need to be able to come physical forms to push each other away enough so we can expand all in different directions. And it's in that expansion that we get more data. It's in that process of getting more data that we are able to see the bigger picture and the meaning, and it only comes when you become selfish, because it's in the process of becoming selfish that you let go of other people's judgment, because God, their energy affects me. Even living in this apartment building, Lord, and I know you know this, because I know you put me here, because I had to become who I was in this circumstance. I had to, because I would never come to myself unless I was in this circumstance. I have to be alone right now. I can't be around people. I don't want people to see how dirty my house is right now. I don't want people to see the bugs that I deal with right now. I don't want people to see the laziness that I am in, okay? But I'm in the laziness that I'm in because I'm overworked. I work at a job where I have no enjoyment, no fulfillment, and I'm judged daily, and I'm persecuted daily, and I'm treated bad daily. It is so incredibly bad that when I come home, I'm just a bundle of mess. And now that I understand that words and thoughts are vibrations, I understand why I'm all over the place. I mean, if you put water under a microscope and shoot vibration, it changes to beautiful crystal structures. When you go through your whole life having negative thrown at you, you're like just a globby mess, and things are all over the place, and you don't want people to see that, because in movies and in TVs, and we're judged, and reality, we make fun of people like that, we do things like that, and in movies you're killed for that, and you're prosecuted for that. You can't be this weird person, crazy person right now, because then you're judged for it. And then when you try to actually speak who you are, and then you have people that are out to get you, and they don't want to share your messages, but I don't fear speaking your message, because I feel that if I'm speaking to you, then everybody hears. Because I'm speaking to you the way that needs to be spoke to you, and people need to understand that they need to speak to you like this. Just because you're listening to this recording right now doesn't mean that I am speaking to you. What I'm doing is having my conversation with God. And it's in the process of you're listening who I am. And I'm not this way, Lord, in front of people when I tell them, because even when I'm sitting here in my mind thinking that I'm talking directly to them, I kind of get jumbled up. Like I can't hear clearly. Like things just don't make sense. But when I'm sitting here talking to you clearly, it's like I get into this flow. I'm able to speak. Things don't kind of jump in the way. It's because it's directed towards the energy. I connect with it because that's who we are. That's where we flow. That's where we grow. That's where the knowledge comes from. The understanding of my past. Like I can literally, I'm starting to think of my past, and as in thinking my past, I can see it almost clearly, but I also feel you, and I understand that it's like just a program. We have to go through it. We're a physical form trying to push our way through life. We have to go through the negative. We have to go through the pain and the harsh and the judgment. And I mean, that's like a way of moving us to the left. And we keep moving because we're human and we've created time and we walk forward. But then you know when it's time because you use our feelings to move us. We are the only ones that are interpreting the feelings wrong. That's what it is. When I was growing up, why are my feelings so out of control, Lord? Why are our feelings? I'm drawing a blank right now. I have to discover more about my feelings before I can finish that. It's funny that I hear you say that it's time to rest. Because here I am still trying to talk, and it's like as soon as you tell me it's time to rest, it stops. And I know I have to stop. Because if I keep trying, then it won't make sense. And then I'll input my own things to make it sense, because it's like it's not meant. It's out of the flow. We try so hard to make things go our way. But it's okay, because we just use it to move us. Once we start to see that our path is stuff that we created. I am where I am because of the path that I created. It's because I'm able to accept my mistakes, forgive myself. I mean, hell, the only way I could have, excuse me, Lord, I'm sorry. Well, I mean, essentially saying, you know, the only way I was able to get to you was to forgive myself. And to understand that I'm human, and to stop believing what people think about me, because believing what people think about me only hinders being able at least to communicate with you. Like I understand I'm on the same path with you because I can communicate with you, and I feel a little bit more guided. There's no stress, everything's gone. I understand that I am where I am for a reason, that there's more knowledge that I need to learn to move, but I also understand that you're going to put the things that you need to in my life. I understand that the greatness is going to come. I feel that I have done really good following you, and every day the love that I give out is yours, and it's like the more I give out the love of yours, meaning when I speak to people and I look at them, I smile at them in a way that it's like I smile at my child when I love my child. I smile at them in the way that I would want you to smile at me, and in return they smile at me the way you would smile at me, and I feel you in that. You are the love. The vibration of love itself is you. And we are all made from love. All of us. Even negative is made from love. We all stem from the same source. We all stem from you. Thank you. Thank you. And thank you for giving me the ability to be able to become selfish. And please, and I know they'll forgive me down the line when they see why I had to do it. I mean, I think that's the hardest part in finding, Lord, is becoming selfish itself. That is the hardest thing to do, because we have to risk giving up everything for love in hopes of finding what we seek within us. And that's hard. Because we are sinful people. Why would I want to turn to myself for any bit of love, considering the stuff that I did, said, all the things? I mean, come on. Look at how it was pinned. At one point I was racist. but not in the means of being mean racist. It's just ill-educated type racist. Like, I was taught that they're this way, so I deemed them this way, but when I actually really got to know them, I realized that they're just like me, but it took me letting go of that stigma. But it's in the process of becoming selfish, Lord. It's in the process of becoming, and that's hard, because I never had the love that I look for. Lord, 33 years of my life, I never had this love that I have with you now. What I feel with you now, I didn't have. But this is what I was looking for. This was the love that I wanted. This was what I needed. I needed this love, because when it's like, as soon as I accepted this as who I am and loved myself, I am beautiful. I am wonderful. I am powerful. I am a leader of leaders because I've been through it all. I understand it. And I'm loved because I am your love. There is no hate. Why would there be any hate? I now understand that hate is negative vibration. It's negative energy. I don't want that in my life. There's only two aspects to you. There's positive and negative. There's hate, there's love. That's it. We are the people in the middle that create everything, because we're judgmental, because we're sinful. But it's okay, because it's the stirring of the pot that we're going through. Sin was it's the stirring of the pot. Our sin needed to move us. It's not that any one person is bad. It's the sin itself, the act of sin, the meaning behind sin that moves us, the negative energy that moves us. I mean, there's always a positive and negative, and the earth has a positive and negative. Everything has a positive and negative to move. Cells have a positive and negative. They have an electron and a neutron. The atoms have a positive and a negative, and then a neutral. There's always a neutral. Oh my God, I get it. It's like the atom. Electrons and neutrons, and there's always the neutral that holds it together. It's always a neutral that holds it together. There is negative in the life, Lord. There is positive in the life. But it's just a mere meaning of moving us. We are the only one that deems it bad towards us. We are the only one that takes offense. We are the only one that hangs on to the physical pain. It's because the physical pain hurts. And when it hurts and everything else is going wrong in our life, we blame ourselves and we keep ourselves trapped in that. And we turn to you in religion and books, hoping for some answer to come out of the sky, or hoping for some answer to come knocking on our door, or hoping for some answer to come in the form of a lottery, or hoping for some answer to come in a form of a big break outside of us. And I know, because that's where I looked for you for a year. See, I started this process when I was 33. Yes. I feel special because you made it on at 33. How else could you show me who you are? I mean, my mom taught me that people like you were crazy, yet you revealed yourself to me on my 33rd birthday. That's the year Jesus died, but that's when you really, yeah, okay. So that's what set me on the path of finding you, because I related myself to Jesus, because I connected with myself on a level of Jesus, because I liked the way he thought. And because of that, I followed it. And that's how I connected with you. Now I understand why Jesus is our Savior. I understand it. And the funny thing is, I don't remember where the beginning of that was going, and I lost it, but that's okay, because there's a reason why I did. And that means that I'm going to now have to listen to this to find out what I missed, because it's in that process of looking at myself. Do I see what I actually missed? We need to go transparent with ourselves. We need to record who we are. If I could, I would put probably cameras and microphones in my house, and I would, record myself for a week, and then spend a day to watch it. And in the process of watching it, I can see what I'm doing. I can see what I'm saying. Because when you're living in pain, Lord, and you don't understand that you are the energy, you are the negative, you are the positive, when you live in that pain, you become resentful because you don't understand it, and it's painful. But as a child hits their foot on the floor, there's so many times that Jael bumped into something and she got a little tiny scratch. Oh my God, Mom, it's infected. It's so bad. And then she would limp. It hurts, Mom. It hurts. That little tiny cut hurts, because When you're little, you're sensitive, and that pain is so magnanimous. That pain is so, that it's energy. That energy is so much that it scares you, and you're thinking, oh no, this is bad. Oh no, what am I going to do? Oh, and that becomes energy. But as you get older, you realize that that little scratch is nothing. It'll go away. It's just a form of transferring energy. It's just a form of feeling. But because we're not taught that the feeling is happening. Yes, when you bump your foot, you heal it. That's energy, baby. It's pain. It will go away. It's only temporary. It helps you to grow. That is how I teach my kids. And now the little bumps and bruises don't bother them. And now they're actually growing because they're not holding on to anything. You know, when that pain comes, they don't just hold on to that pain. Okay, I'm not letting go and going forward. This hurts too much. I don't want to do anymore. I don't want to do this again. I don't want to cause this again. We got to be careful and move slowly. Let's not do that. But see, that's not what it is. Pain is necessary to grow. So if we fear pain, we don't go in the path that we need to grow, because the path that we need to grow is painful. But it's funny because we have to go through that. I mean, I can tell people all day long what it is to go through it, but they have to experience it for themselves. So there's really no point in teaching. Now, I can offer them my guidance. I can give them the conversations that I have with you, and I can show them what I say to you, and I can translate, because that's what we are. We are a beacon to be able to share your knowledge and your love. But we have to be able to center ourselves and let go of what other people think of us before we can do it. Because it's like letting go of what everybody thought allowed me to connect with you in the way that I need to. Allow me to get to this point where I understand kind of the meaning of life. And we're here to experience you. I mean, you created us as an extension of you to be able to experience life. But we've disconnected ourselves through the ego, through the flesh, through the body, through our sight, that we don't realize how energetic and spiritual and energy we are. We are infinite beings. Oh my God. We are energy. We are feeling. We are thought. We are that. But it's hard to see that when you're going through pain, because in pain you don't learn the feeling. You don't learn the meaning. Like, okay, if you would have told me, Brandy, okay, before you get beat, there's going to be coming a time in life, Brandy, where you're going to fall in love with a man, and the man that beat me, I loved him more than most in my life. The feeling I had for him, oh my God, I have never felt that for another man. It was so powerful, so strong, and it adhered me to him. Like I attached to him and I moved. He was an alcoholic in the beginning, but because the love that I had for him and how he made me feel, and he wasn't mean, you attracted me to him. You allowed me to fall in love with him on a deeper level than most of my relationships. But he was the bad kind, but yet I was attached to him. Like he was like my twin soul, but in a negative way. And you adhered me to him, and I loved him. He moved me. He changed me. He turned me onto drugs that I didn't do. He put me into that negative situation, and I followed him diligently. So it's like, even though you weren't there and I wasn't following you, you knew the way to pull me to get to you. And you did it in a form of him. And even towards the end of that, you tried to break the relationship. He started getting angry. He started getting more violent, but you saw that I wasn't going to let him go. You knew that I wasn't going to let him go. So the violence progressed to more abusive things. You even put my children in front of it to see if I would move for my children. But again, yet I was stubborn. I loved him too much. And it took him hurting me and my children seeing that pain, every bit of that abuse. My kids saw, my mom saw at a young age. That was imprinted into my children, what happened to me. And for the longest time it affected them. They were so fearful of losing me, and what happened? They lost me. It all makes sense. You knew that I wouldn't let him go. But in the moment of it happening, you took me out of it and put me with you. And I didn't stay with you because my eyes weren't on you, My eyes were on the fact that I just got beat, and that I was stupid, and I was on drugs, and I was a terrible mom because here I was with an alcoholic who I allowed to beat me, and my kids watched, and I was just sitting there. It's where you left me. But I left myself there because I wouldn't leave him, because I loved him. Because you were in him, and I felt you. Every time you moved me, you were there. Every person who hurt me, you were there. Everything, you were there. And that's hard for a lot of people to accept. That really is a very difficult thing for anybody to accept. Because, I mean, come on. You have religions. Like, I don't study the religions. And I don't really want to study the religions because I feel like that I know you enough. That I found my path in my religion, which was Christianity. It was Christianity that brought me to you. It's like it is like every religion is a wheel. Like, it's like a net that's thrown out. So if you think of a spiderweb's net, how there's a string going in every direction. Okay, and and even a fish's net. Think of a fish's net, similar, the same way. It's centered in the middle, it's connected in the middle, but if you open it up, it's like a spider web. Okay? If you want to catch fish, you throw a net into water. If you want to catch flies, you build a web that's sticky and the flies come to you. You are God, and we're not portrayed you as energy, as light, as, we perceive you as solid matter, what we're taught. We don't perceive you as energy. We don't perceive you as anything other than what we see. But you are. And if you want to catch energy beings in a sea of flesh and men, you have to cast out a net. And from each of that, people will then grab onto something and crawl their way up by learning who they are and learning different ways and moving up, and that's how they get closer to you. And Christianity was that for me. Atheist was the thing that I needed to be, because it's the total void and absent of everything, of you, of love, nothing. I literally was born a solid mass of flesh. I mean, I was raised as flesh. I was taught that we are alone. I was taught that life happens as it is. You're just on this. I was walking aimlessly through life, not growing, thinking I was useless, thinking I wasn't smart enough. I didn't do any of that. I was just like, I am literally the opposite of what I felt God should love. Like, if I can become who I am, then everybody, it's like I was created from the bottom. I made the mistake. I did everything from the bottom. That's who I was. I grew up in the bottom. But to cast your net, the net has to fall all the way down to the bottom. And then slowly pulled up where it stays at the bottom and everything else comes up. And then it becomes like the rock that pulls everybody up. Everybody comes with it. All the different religions are your net. And when you get the right teachings and you raise the vibration, people start to understand more. They start to open up. And positive and love raises that vibration. And that's what I do. I give love to people who don't have it. I help people raise their vibrations. I move people towards you through my love. And that's what you're doing. You're pulling people together to become one, because we are all connected. And the fact that we've lived our lives thinking that we're so disconnected. I mean, in school, come on, you're taught in school science and biology, and we're cells. We're, again, fact. And then you're thrown into a life where, shit happens, okay? And you just have to go through hell, and you're treated badly, and you're abused, and that's just what it is. Fact. Life's terrible. Then you have movies to reinforce it. You have news consistently telling you how bad the world is because they're trying to keep you in a negative vibration. Yes, the world is bad because we keep focusing on the bad. Yes, everything's going to hell because we only see the hell. The rapture, in a sense, in the Bible is real, but the problem is it's so cloaked. So cloaked in events because it's the hardest message of all. And I don't fully understand it, and I know that I have to read Revelations to understand it more because I really do believe I can understand it. What we choose to focus on is the path that we're going to go down. And it's going to get to the point where there's so much negative energy. It is energy. The book of Revelations prophesizes it because it is happening, because it's energy. There's only so much negative in this entire span, universe, body, cell, before the universe has to correct itself and overpopulate the positive. But again, that's like growth. A lot of negative, and then all of a sudden the positive is just going to push its way up, and it's going to build up, because the negative is the stepping stone to bring us to you. But you are the ultimate. You are the end. And of course, we're going to keep coming back, and we're going to keep doing this because we desire growth. I want to grow. I like growth. I have so much history of mine, and now I understand who I am. And I finally am getting to the point where I'm hitting my center, where I'm ready to move in another direction. Now I'm going to move up. The funny part of all of it is the only time that I feel you or connect with you is inside of me, inside of my mind, inside of my experience. Like, I know I connect with you outside because you show me numbers all the time. I'm starting to understand and see so many repeating numbers. 347 all the time. 1111, 17. It's incredible how much I'm seeing numbers daily. And it's like I'm understanding it and I'm listening to it. It's like our subconscious is guiding us. And when we become in tune with you, we're able to listen. So when we listen on an unconditional level, you're able to move us. And we know what we're looking at. And we can see it for what it is, the meaning behind it. I know that I may feel like I'm not where I need to be, but I really, truly feel like something big is coming. I don't know what it is. I'm thankful for whatever it is. But I really do believe that we need to really change who we see ourselves to be. We need to teach the Bible. It's like, to me, it's a new time for a new perspective. Our whole life and growing up, we're all taught about the cloak, what we see. I think it's time that I start teaching, start speaking and interpreting. Like, I want to be your perspective coach. I want to learn the Bible, study and do scriptures, but I want to teach the meaning behind it, the interpretation behind it. And I want to show that it's time for that change, because it really is. The things that I can do, the knowledge you give me, the ideas that I have, the talents that you've given me, this right here is the fountain of youth to me. This is my spilling over, because I can get and I can do and I can understand and I can move in the ways I didn't, and I can see why everything had to happen, and I let go of everything because I now understand that it was all for a purpose. It was all meant for something. I was never alone. You were always there with me. You were always moving with me. Like, I feel so much better. It's because, like, I feel like I'm slowly letting go of everything that I did, of all the mistakes that I made, of all the men that came into my life and I hurt. I didn't know who to I kept looking for this love that I needed to find in me. Because it's like, as soon as I found it in me, it becomes eternal. I can give it to everybody now. I know how to do it because I understand it. I understand that you are me. I am you. They are us. And when I go to people, I don't treat them in a negative way, because treating them in a negative way causes me to feel it. And I don't want to feel that. I don't want to add to that. I want this all the time, all day, every day. I want to be able to be in the flow, to know the steps that I have to walk. And the less I focus on the negative around me, and the more I focus on the positive, I don't see negative things anymore. I like rarely ever see anything negative anymore. You know, every now and then people kind of get a little bit of an attitude, but I'm able to smile at them, and then they don't treat me that way. I'm able to go into work a little bit more, and the day's going a little bit better, and I'm able to handle more, because it's like, I love everybody. It's like I'm treating them with so much love that I feel it. It's like I can feel their love. It's like, as I'm loving them, I feel their love towards me. It's like I feel like I'm connecting with people. Finally, for once in my life, I feel like I'm connecting with people. And I can't do that online. And I can't do that in the internet. And it's really sad, because people are looking for that online. And they're looking for that in the internet, and they can't get it there. They're looking for this love everywhere, and they can't get it anywhere, but it's inside of them the whole time. And it's a process of letting go of everything we believe, and just being ourselves without the fear of judgment, without the fear of being, pointed at or looked at, or you have to let go of all that, because it's only in the process of letting go of all that that I can have this conversation with you. I mean, because to have this conversation with you before would have never happened, because I would have tripped myself up. I would have overthought, okay, what would people think if I said that? I kept consistently thinking about what other people would think. And because of that, I never became who I truly was. It's like, that is a big fear that we have to share. My mind has fully been expended. Like, I'm not exhausted mentally, but I can't think anymore. I'm kind of more into like, it's time for me to go meditate or something and just stop. Recharge our battery. I mean, we are energy. We are energy. Now, imagine taking a battery and just consistently using it. It's going to die. It's going to be expelled. The energy is gone. It's done. There's no more. If we continue to expel our energy and get rid of our energy and think negative and distort what we have, our batteries run dead. They run dry. They die. And when we keep our energy in, when we stop trying to live other people's lives, and we stop living other paths, and we stop giving away our energy to everybody else, we realize that we have so much internally. And it's not being selfish, because I still love people, and they come to me if they want help. I'll be able to help them in a loving and understanding way, enough for them to come in and get what they need and go, and I can let them go, because I know they're going to grow. I trust and love that they're going to grow. I know this. It really is internal to love yourself, because then you have so much more love for everybody, because you realize we're all one and the same. We're all in this together. There is no separating me from you. There is no calling my skin color different than your skin color. There's no reason for me to call my race different than your race. So we are the same thing. Just because we look different doesn't mean anything. That's just called adversity of life. That's just called the abundance of life. I mean, we look at the abundance of life every day and we judge it. Oh, that's different. Here we want abundance and freedoms and, a lot, yet we tend to point, oh, why would we want that? Ew, no, we judge everything around us. Like, if someone came into my house right now and looked around, they'd be like, oh my God, this girl is so gross. She doesn't do anything. There's shoes on her floor, and there's papers everywhere, and trash, and oh look, there's cups and dishes sitting there. Oh my God, I could just imagine how she lives her life. I'm thankful that she's not my friend. Or you go into someone's house and they have colors that you don't like. Oh, she likes that color. That color's so ugly. Why would you decorate your house in that color? Ugh. But they do that because that's who they are in the moment, and that makes them feel good. That's them. That is their life. We're continuously judgmental by our lives. We judge, and we judge, and we judge the abundance of life because we're too narrow-minded, ignorant in a sense, because we don't know. We're limited, you know. We don't question life. We don't expand. I mean, we have to expand. I mean, if we want to get anywhere, grow our mind or mentality, we have to learn, and we don't learn. I mean, I still struggle to read books, but I don't have much time, but I know that I'm going to have plenty of time to read books. And God, the books that I'm going to read are going to be amazing. And I'm going to have my own reading spot designated. Like, I'm going to do everything I do from now on with intention. I want to read a book. Okay, I'm going to create a room for reading books where I can separate that time to fully immerse myself into that book, because you don't see the meaning in life until you immerse yourself into it. But in another way, not just by what you see, but when you become that person. Like, for me to be able to gain perspective of who you are, Lord, I had to gain different perspectives of other people. And the only way to gain a different perspective of other people is to put yourself in their shoes. Well, to put yourself in someone else's shoes is to think outside of a realm of your limited reality. If you've never been an addict, if you've never been addicted to a drug, if you've never had the experience of being addicted to the drug, then you don't understand the control that the drug has. So therefore, you cannot put yourself into that person's shoes because you don't understand the effects that affect them. Now, again, we see everything as physical numbers and stuff. And when someone's on drugs and they're withdrawing, they would just look like someone who's complaining. Oh my God, the pain is so bad. Oh, you just don't understand. And they're fidgety. I need this drug. A lot of people will tend to see it as they're just acting up. They're just doing it for attention. They're just wanting drug. Don't give in. They're just wanting drug. They don't see the pain inside of you. They don't see what you feel. What a drug addict feels without a drug. Okay. I'm trying to think of a way I can explain it for people who have never done drugs and are addicted to a drug. The withdrawal. Okay, I have the perfect way. Think of the flu. But think of a flu as a flu that never stops. The pain is so intense. The fever is so intense that and the drug will relieve that. The drug will take that away. Instantly, the second you put that drug in your body, your mind already goes into it's coming, calm down, breathe, the pain is going to go away, calm down. Your mind goes in the spect, and you kind of even when you go to get the drug, you're like, it's coming, so you can tell your body to calm down. It's like the little bit of control you can gain over your body. Calm down, the drug is coming. You put that drug into your body, and all of a sudden the pain goes away, and you can be normal again, and you can be human again, and you can go on with your daily life, and you can inspire, and you can reach for this thing that you want. The problem is, as soon as that drug leaves your body, that feeling starts to come back. That flu feeling, that pain. The pain is incredible. I mean, you think of a flu and times that by 100 without the vomiting. I mean, some people do vomit. Actually, a lot of people do vomit. I just was never that. But when you take that pain away, or when you take that drug and it comes out of your system, that pain continues to come back time and time and time and time again. Now, when you're a parent and you're a daughter or a mother, you need that drug to move. Without it, you feel like you're dying. You can't do anything. The pain is so intense that you can't stop yourself from doing it. Like you're stuck thinking this is how it's always going to be, and the drug is the only thing that keeps you moving forward. But it also alters you. It hinders you. You make bad decisions. You say things you don't mean. I mean, it literally takes control on you of a whole nother level. It's like, imagine a period of time where you were angry. Somebody did something to upset you so incredibly bad. You were so angry. The things that you were saying, you just wanted to make them feel what you felt. Well, when you're on drugs, you do that because you feel a lot of pain and you suffer with a lot of physical, internal, mental, and emotional pain, and you spill that out. The best thing to do for people who are on drugs is to be there and understand, I know you're in a lot of pain, but you can get through it. I will help you get through it. And give them distilled water. Distilled water will clean the body out from all impurities. It's going to be a painful process, but your love can push them through that. But you have to have that love and understanding. A lot of people don't have that love and understanding. Only thing they have is remembering all the pain that that person caused them. All my friends and everybody that I did wrong, if they remembered me, and because they're judgmental and assume that people don't change, they only remember me for the pain that I caused them, and they never let that go. They can't get past that. They get stuck on that, and they judge me based on that. But drugs they're something, but they're also, again, a part of the process, a way to move you. If I didn't take the drugs and do the drugs the way I did, I wouldn't gain the knowledge of what it's like to be a drug addict. And because I have that knowledge, I now understand what people are going through. But I know that love can change that. In that moment, we just need someone to stick there. If I had my kids and there came a point in time where I had a friend who truly loved me and saw what I was going through and said, okay, I see what you're going through. This is what we're going to do. If my kids would have been taken care of for 1 month, and I was taken to a facility where I could be taught who I was, I could be taught about the past of my experiences, of the fact that the pain is necessary to grow, and that, we are not the sum total of what people say we are. If I would have went through a summit while I was a drug addict, and I could just feel the love that I feel now, and understanding that I could feel now, it would help me to change my life drastically and a lot quicker. But see, I didn't go through that because I needed to experience it alone. I had to come out of it alone, by myself. As a child, I mean, come on, being addicted to drugs is being controlled beyond belief. It's not, if you're a drug addict, then if you've never been a drug addict, then imagine what it would be like without your coffee. Imagine what it would be like without your caffeine or your chocolate or your sweets or your go-to thing. Imagine what life would be without that, and times it by 100 and make it physical pain, like the flu, like beyond what you can even imagine. Okay? I can't teach people about it unless I've experienced it, because now I can teach. I can explain it in a way people understand, and now I can help people connect more with drug addicts, so we're not judging drug addicts, period. There is no judgment for drug addicts. It is literally all they need is love and support to get them out, and understanding and patience. And yes, they steal wrong, but you need to tell them, look, I understand why you're doing it. I will be there to help you get out of it. Let me. Drug addicts won't go to people. I wouldn't go to people. I wouldn't tell anybody it was the struggle that I was in. We're so judgmental. If I would have went to somebody back then and told them that I was a drug, no, let me take that back. When my kids were taken from me, and I tried to tell them the truth that I needed help, and I didn't know what to do, and I saw, okay, do I do it this way? Can I go to the hospital and tell them that I'm suicidal? Will that help anything? Because I don't want to be like this. I want to change. And they say, yes, that will help, and then it doesn't. You don't go for help. We don't go for help. We don't ask help because we fear what people may say, what people may think, what people may do, because of what we have done. That there is no forgiveness. There is no understanding. That is what we fear, and that's what pushes us apart. That's what pushes us apart. We could grow so much farther if we would just stop being so damn selfish. Wait, no. Not selfish. Hold on, let me rephrase that, because we do need to be selfish in a way. See, that's another thing. That meaning of the word selfish is it's not so much being selfish. We've got to change that, because that meaning carries a lot of weight. And it's not being selfish. It's like a retreat. It's like when you're sick, you go away to get better. When you have surgery, you go to a rehab so you can heal. In a rehab, you're away from the crazy mundane of life. You're in a hospital where you're doing exercises. You're focusing on healing. You're not focusing on your job. You're not focusing on your kids. You're not focusing on your life. You're not focusing on the people next to you. You're not focusing about that promotion. You're not focusing about, are your kids doing good in school? No, you're in there to heal. The doctors are with you. They help you. They make you heal. Being selfish is the metaphorical version of the hospital. And not selfish, it's like treatment. We have to go to a point where we let go of everything around us. We let go of, and we have to do it for sometimes a long time. It depends on how deep ingrained it is in you. The farther you can get away, with kids it's hard too, because with kids, you can't just grow. That's not an easy path to have kids. You can't just go out. If I did not have kids, I wouldn't be who I am spiritually. I wouldn't be as stretched, because I had three girls that like stretched me in every possible direction, which again, they are my greatest teachers. Lord, thank you. They are my greatest teachers. The Holy Trinity. My 3 kids stretched me. My 3 girls stretched me. I wanted a son, Lord. I wanted a boy, a mama's boy. I know this was my path. And I'm accepting of that. My mind's blank. It's because I'm not meant to share anymore. It's because I need to rest. It's because I've expelled a lot of my energy. And I've gained a deeper understanding. It's like the more I share about you, the more I feel you. The more I share, the more I feel. It's like you are the energy, you are love. And when I share, I feel it. Like literally, my whole entire body is just vibrating. It's so weird feeling. It feels good, like I can breathe. Like, it's okay. Everything's good. Everything is right where you need it to be. We're moving forward. It's so funny that I even hear you thinking and telling me to share this. Why do I want to share this? First and foremost, Lord, okay, I will. I'll make a video and I'll share this. I'll share it all. I'll share every bit of it. Every bit. But it doesn't go far. Facebook doesn't share it. I'm struggling to share anything. And this is deep for me, because this is putting a lot out there. This is a lot to be judged. A lot of people can easily judge this and say something about who I am and say, this is a big deal. And it's funny that you tell me to share it. It's funny. I feel if I must share it, I'll share it. But can I at least listen to it first? Don't really. No, I can't listen to it. Alright. It is what it is. But I hope there's something that's going to come from this for people to understand and see that they're not limited. It's so sad to see my brothers and sisters and my family and my friends and all of society thinking so limited, thinking so limited. I want people to find you because I want them to feel what I feel. And now that I understand that you are not the physical, but a feeling, an energy, a source, it has to be shared. It has to be known. I will share this message. And I know that you have plans to, if you're wanting me to share it, then it's meant for somebody. Even one person. One person this will affect. That's enough to make a difference. I have accepted that, and I will let this go knowing that that one person will make a difference, or it'll change that. Like, it's meant for somebody, like somebody needs to hear this. I'll accept that. And I'll let it go. I know we're not alone despite how we feel, but if we could just stop for a minute and stop looking at the world and let go of things, and we have so much love to give and share. So much. You really are exceedingly abundant, above and beyond, and I can do all things through you because you are the glue that holds me together. You've always been there. You will always be there. And that's never going to end. Thank you, Lord, for showing me this and explaining this to me and allowing me to be myself and allowing me to do it without no judgment, without no fear. And thank you, because it's through the process of life that I became this way. I am who I am because of the pain that I went through. I no longer fear pain. I am free of everything because I suffered with everything. I've done everything. I've been everywhere. I've hit the bottom in every aspect. And through that you have freed me. But without that I wouldn't be this. So every minute is worth it. And I will share that every single time in detail with everybody. I will share what I can. Because we all have the ability to become this. And when we all become this, life is just going to be this incredible world where we grow, share, because that's how we grow. We move up by sharing, not this copyright and don't use this and don't. We learn by sharing everything without judgment, without failure, with being who we are despite our faults, because it's our faults that got us to be who we are. Again, the catch-22. You have to think to grow, but you have to grow to think. And it's not an easy process when you start from the bottom, but it's well worth it when you get to the top. 2018 is my year. 2018 is going to bring things into my life that I never could imagine possible, and I now understand how and why. And I'm patient, Lord. I am patient through this process because I want it no other way. I want it your way and your way only, because your way is to love. Your way is love. You are love. It's all the same. Bless me, Lord. Bless my family and bless everybody who hears this, because in hearing this, maybe they can free themselves from something that they've trapped themselves with. Let this be my conversation with God that frees people. I'm excited for tomorrow. Life is good. And this journey is just about to get good. Oh, I'm so excited for the next level. Man, if it's like this, at this level, like, I've come this far and I've got to this point, but man, if I feel the way that I do now, despite what it looks like, I could just imagine what I'm going to feel at my next level, and I can imagine you are about to balance my scales, and now I understand why you balanced my scales, because I lived at one end, and soon I have to get to the middle, slowing my momentum. You're getting me there, and soon it's going to take me to the top, and we all have that, and I'm going to share that, and I'm going to help people to find you, no matter what it takes. I will share this, and give people the heart and the love to share you as well, and the understanding to open up their ears to hear my messages, even though I ramble on. Maybe they'll watch it several more times. I mean, because you're not going to get one message out of listening to this one time. There's no way, because you can't fully understand that. There are so many times that I remember listening to videos a long time ago, and I didn't hear messages. But the more I learned, the more I heard the meaning in the message. The more I learned, the more I heard the meaning in the message. To the point where I've learned so much that when I hear something, I automatically hear the message, and I get it. It speaks directly to every one of us. The meaning is always there, but you can't interpret it until you get all the ones and zeros. I'm done, Lord. I'm done. No more. No more. I'll make another one maybe one day, but I'm done. I will post this
as you feel, and we'll see what it does. Maybe it'll change somebody's life. Oh, it will change somebody's life. I know. I just have to be patient.